This experiment is chromatography. We're going to do the chromatography of dyes, where we separate them into their different pigments or individual compounds that make up the total color. We start by labeling our chromatography paper, and we're labeling where we're going to put the different dyes. Then we apply the different colors of dye to the X's, and notice they're on this line. That's our starting line. After we get our dyes on the paper, we roll our paper up so it'll fit into the beaker, and then we put our eluding solution down here in the beaker, and we don't want too much because when we put the paper in, we want the liquid level to be below the spots. Otherwise, the dyes will just go down into the bottom of the beaker. So once we have the right amount of eluding solution in here, we're going to put our chromatography paper in. We put a cover on it so that it doesn't evaporate too much. But you see that as soon as we put the paper in, the liquid starts going up, soaking up the paper by capillary action. And as it does, you can see that where the dyes were, they're starting to smear upward with that liquid. As time passes, the liquid gets further and further up. It's still moving up, and we start to see some differences in where the dyes are going. This number 2 is turquoise, and it appears that it has a blue compound and a yellow compound in it, and maybe a green one. We'll have to see when it finishes. And we continue. It's getting up there higher. It looks like there's no green compound on that number 2. It looks like we have just 2 pigments. And this is what it looks like when we're done. And this is not a great one. And the reason that I say that is that these spots are really big. And in fact, some of them, like this red, are just a big smear. So when you get the spots, you have to judge where the center is, and it's harder to do when they're so large. Your chromatography paper will look better than this, but we're going to judge how high up those go. And when you go to make your measurements, make sure that you don't measure from the bottom of the paper. The start line, so this is wrong. The start line is the line we drew at the beginning. That's where the spots started. So line up your ruler with that. And then also we're going to measure in centimeters. The centimeters have a mark every line, at least on this ruler they do. Every tenth of a centimeter has a line. But the thing is, these spots are so big and you're judging where the middle of it is. Really, this digit here is an estimate, and so it doesn't make sense to do another digit after that. And that's all you need to know to interpret your data.